2, 1.
What's up guys, so this is another art video, but this time I'm talking instead of just having music playing in the background, which is different. I got this idea from watching an artist on YouTube I saw, and he usually just talks while he's drawing, which honestly seems like it goes by faster when it's just playing music in the background, especially when it's like a 30-minute to an hour-long video. So I'm just going to be talking about my thoughts about this TV show and the art process of this video. Yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I can keep a mainstream of thoughts, but let's see how it turns out. So first off, this show was okay. I watched the show like 2 or so weeks ago, so after I finished it, I started making this drawing this picture, which is of the main character, Yumiko Jabami. She's probably one of the few characters where I'm like okay with. To be honest, I didn't really like the show. I thought it was like just average, okay, extraordinary, not extraordinary, but yeah, out of most I rate this show out of 5 out of 10 because this characters, its cast is just really weird. Each of them have like odd personalities, and some of them even have odd fetishes and stuff. So alright, sorry, I dropped my mic. But moral of the story, most of the characters are weird, especially Yumiko Jabami, but her is like moderately weird. She has a gambling addiction, which is somewhat normal compared to everyone else in the show. Like for example, Midari, who has a Russian roulette addiction, who likes gambling with her life instead of money. But yeah, if you don't know what the show's about, it's basically about a private school, but their means of having fun and improving your social status and reputation is through gambling, which is basically what the student council is, like the best gamblers in the entire school. And this girl I'm drawing, Yumiko, she goes and gambles with literally everyone, no exceptions. She goes in debt. It's like a whole thing. And then season 2 comes around, and there's a whole new cast which wants to gamble with Yumiko. So I'm like, whatever. But yeah, that's what the entire show is. So now now to the art piece. I've been talking for like 2 minutes. I didn't talk about what I was doing. But if you move back a little bit, you saw me sketching a rough sketch of the outline of her. I have a bad habit of not actually using guidelines and models and stuff, which makes the sketching process a lot longer than it needs to be, which is actually kind of ironic because I'm impatient. I don't use guidelines because I'm impatient, and because of that, I take longer to draw. But after drawing, I just highlight everything I need to outline with a black micron. Usually it's black micron, but if I run out, I need to use a black pen, or worst case scenarios, a black color pencil, which in previous drawings it looks weird. It doesn't look the way I would like it to look. But yeah, so after outlining and stuff, honestly I start coloring. But before I get to the coloring part, I put her into a box, mainly because I messed up Yumiko's hand that's above her head, which I believe is her left hand, and I didn't feel like fixing it or like changing it or even potentially redrawing the entire thing for like the 3rd time. So I just put it into a box, which later turns out to be like a gambling card, a poker card. But now for a drawing process, I actually end up drawing in coloring in different ways throughout the video. For her jacket, I lightly shaded in her entire jacket with a pink color, like pink, very light red color, and then I just color on top of it what will be like darker here, or darker here, what will look nice here, highlights and stuff, which turned out pretty nice. You can't see in the video, but up close there was a lot of like specks and white spots, because I'm still working on blending with color pencils, which is kind of difficult, even if you use a blender color pencil, or a blender pencil. I don't know if it's called color pencil because it doesn't have a color, but yeah. And then for her hair, I ended up using a different brand of color pencils altogether, which was honestly a bad mistake. Usually since I got my new color pencils, I've been using Prismacolor color pencils to color. Before, I used something called Castle Artwork, I believe it's called, which honestly these color pencils aren't as good as Prismacolors, but I had a lot left over and I wanted to use them, so I decided I'll color her hair using them, which give her hair like a weird gray color with some black highlights, which didn't look nice. but I stuck with it anyways, hoping I can get it to work and blend it. Hopefully I can blend it in and stuff again with the blender pencil, which as you can see it's kind of grainy. I work on it later in the video, but after I finish the basics of it, like coloring her hair and whatnot, I just move on so I don't get frustrated, because I stopped working on this project for a week just because I messed up the hair. It like bugged me. But yeah, I finished her hair using Castle color pencils and blender pencils. As you can see, they're different from the Prisma colors, which I'll be using again after I finish the hair. But yeah, so back to story while I'm doing that. Yumiko has a weird gambling addiction, as I said before, and she has no limits to what she gambles to, regardless of how much money she has or whatnot. She's not much, but she's very willing to go further into debt just to gamble. It is a very unhealthy addiction, and this show makes it look like it's like a normal thing. But then again, like I said, everyone in the show is weird. So onto the skirt. This time I started doing a different way of coloring. I watched a TikTok about a person coloring, and she was like layers and layers and layers, which I knew before, but I never really want to try it. And I saw the process, although it was like time lapse. I'm like, alright, maybe I'll try. So I separated her section of skirt into like 7 sections, and I just put layer on layer. I think it was like 4 or 5 layers of color pencils to smooth it out, and it still didn't smooth out like the way I wanted to, but it was still a lot better than like the jacket and her hair. So I stuck with it for the rest of the video for the most part. I still use blender pencil, but it wasn't until like the last 2 layers that I use it. So it had like a weird glossy look to it, and then again I was also using a silver color pencil, so it was glossy to begin with and slightly dark gray once I put layers on top of each other. But the skirt turned out really nice. I put new black color pencil for the shading and stuff, and I worked onto her, will be like, I don't know what that part of the coat would be called, but I'm just gonna call it a zipper for now. The zipper for coat, just work on it, and her cuffs to her jacket and whatnot, which honestly was slightly annoying because the cuffs were really small, so getting the details in, especially when my pencil sharpener didn't want to sharpen my pencil, was kind of annoying. Eventually I had to sharpen my, well, not sharpen, but if you don't know this, you use normal pencils to sharpen pencil sharpeners, because graphite sharpen things, or graphite is used to sharpen metals and stuff. So before I actually put my color pencils into the pencil sharpener, I use my graphite pencil and then put my color pencils in to sharpen it, which works pretty well, but at the same time it's still, the color pencils still wear down the sharpener rather quickly. And so for the background, I was trying to do a diamond pattern using a ruler, but I messed up terribly, so I just freehanded it, which turned out better, but the diamonds were still somewhat misshapen. You can't see until I start coloring a little bit, or maybe when I outline it with a black micron. But hopefully, or not hopefully, because I don't want you to see, but you do see all the diamonds are actually slightly shifted to the left, kind of, and right under her arm, they're just out of line to the rest of the diamonds that are in the background. But yeah, I just want to do a black and red diamond background just because it make it look like she's gambling, and it goes with the theme of the show. But for this one I use a completely different red because I wanted a more vibrant color red, but you don't see that until after I do all the black diamonds, which I did all at the same time, just for the simple fact I don't like alternating between color pencils repeatedly for a long period of time, which I spent like 5 minutes on each diamond, smoothing it out and making sure it was like a nice color that I wanted. But yeah, before I colored them, honestly I marked all the diamonds I wanted to be which color with a black color pencil, or I marked all the black diamonds with a black color pencil. Yeah, but I colored in all those, which took a solid, maybe it wasn't 5 minutes per diamond, but it still took a solid 30 minutes just for the black diamonds. And then especially when I got to the tight spots like under her arm and in between her hair, it was just, I want to say gruesome, but it was very, very tedious. It could be better, or it could be worse as well. But then I went with my red color pencil, which was more vibrant than the colors I used for her jacket, which I really liked. Makes it pop out, and then on top of that, doesn't make it seem like everything is just the same shade of color and stuff. But yeah, the diamonds turned out kind of nice. You can see a little bit how the diamonds are misshapen, slightly shifted as well, but it's not that bad, especially for someone who we used his free hand, didn't use a ruler or anything. Which I don't know how I messed up with the ruler. And then like, I know one time I accidentally bumped my desk, which moved my ruler completely out of the way while I was drawing a line. And then other times I just don't know how I messed up, so I just threw the ruler out, threw it to the side, and just used my hand to do it with a lead pencil. Which honestly, I have fallen in love using lead pencils. I have no idea why. Mainly because, or probably because, yes, most likely because of how light it is, and I don't have to apply much pressure, or more like I can't apply pressure, or the pencil breaks. So it helps me keep in check and make sure I'm not making it too dark or anything. But anyways, after I do the background, I went to coloring her skin, which it's out of habit. I always color the skin of a portrait or whatever last, mainly because when I first started using color pencils, I was really nervous doing skin color, so I just did it last, and it just turned into a habit. I always color everything else first, usually like the most dominant color of the page, which for this one was red, so I did her jacket first and then made the background red and black. And then I go back after I finish her hands to try to fix the hair, which honestly doesn't do that much for real. So I just went and color her face, try to add like pink blushes, shading, and make sure her skin tone wasn't all one tone, which was also difficult because of the small area I work with. I ended up going back to the hair because I got frustrated with the face, but the hair wasn't all that much better. I went over with a black color pencil lightly, so it still has different colors and shading, but at the same time try to smooth it out. It did work a little bit, as hopefully you can see, but it still bugs me. It's still a little bit grainy, but now I know what not to do next time. I'll stick with the same color throughout the entire, or not the same color, same brand of pencil throughout the entire work. But then after that, I ended up putting highlights, her necklace, put a shine in, and as a last thought, I did calligraphy, I believe it's called, on the corners for a J. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was fun making, also slightly frustrating, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I would really appreciate it if you can comment whether you want me to keep making art videos like this, or just go back to just using music or not. But other than that, have a nice day.